If you go to Google Maps and go through satellite imagery of one of Earth's most hostile deserts, you will spot something impossible: an aircraft carrier. Not near water, not in a shipyard, but in the middle of an ocean of sand 1,500 miles from the nearest coastline. Here's what makes this truly unsettling. It's not China's own carrier design they're building. It's America's. Like a chess player studying their opponent's pieces to predict every possible move, China has constructed exact replicas of US warships in the Taklamakan Desert. But these aren't monuments or museums, they're something far more calculated. Think of it like this: before a surgeon operates, they practice on models. Before an architect builds, they create prototypes. China is practicing too, but what they're rehearsing isn't healing or creating, they're perfecting the art of destruction. And they're doing it in broad daylight, fully visible to satellites, almost as if they want the world to watch. Let me show you why the world's second largest sand desert has become ground zero for a military revolution that could rewrite the rules of naval warfare. The Taklamakan Desert is nature's isolation chamber. 326,000 square kilometers of sand, so vast and unforgiving that its name literally means go in and you won't come out. So why build warships here? To understand the urgency, you need to grasp how dramatically China's naval power has exploded. In 2017, when the iPhone X had just dropped, China had 0 home-built aircraft carriers. 0. Today, they have 3 operational carriers with more under construction. Their entire navy has grown from roughly 250 ships in 2017 to over 350 today, making it the largest navy in the world by hull count. That's not gradual military expansion, that's a sprint. And with that growth comes a critical question: can these new toys actually compete with America's battle-tested fleet? When you zoom in, you can notice something peculiar. The mock-ups aren't just rough outlines, they are precise, down to the bridge structure, missile launch systems, and radar masts of American Gerald R. Ford-class carriers and Arleigh Burke-class destroyers. It's like someone had traced the blueprints with obsessive detail. But here's where it gets strategic. Look at these poles. They're not just props, they're tracking blasts in real time. Some people think they're radar reflectors, simulating the complex electromagnetic signature of a real warship. Either way, they're not decorative. Then there are the train tracks, but not normal tracks. These twist and curve through completely flat desert, making sharp, unpredictable turns. Why? Because real warships don't sit still. They zigzag, they accelerate, they execute evasive maneuvers at sea. China mounted their carrier mock-up on rails so they can simulate a moving target trying desperately to escape. It's target practice, but the target fights back. And satellite imagery confirms they're hitting their marks. Scorch patterns, impact craters, evidence of successful strikes. This isn't random testing, this is systematic research into answering one specific question. Can we sink an American carrier group before it gets close enough to matter? And judging by the evidence scattered across the sand, they're getting uncomfortably good at it. Remember in strategic games when someone develops a unit that completely counters your best piece? That's what's happening here, except with real geopolitical consequences. China's Dongfeng DF-21D missile system, nicknamed the Carrier Killer, is their answer to American naval dominance. Here's why it's terrifying. Traditional anti-ship weapons require getting close. Submarines must penetrate defensive screens. Aircraft need to survive air defenses. But the DF-21D launches from mainland China, arcs into space like a ballistic missile, then plummets back down at hypersonic speeds. The really clever part is during descent, a maneuverable warhead separates and can adjust course in real time, tracking moving targets using satellite guidance. It's like a chess piece that can change direction mid-move. Think about what this means practically. A US carrier battle group costs roughly $20 billion between the carrier itself, escort ships, aircraft, and thousands of personnel. China's missile? Maybe $10 to $15 million. That's almost the operating and maintenance cost of a US aircraft carrier for a single day. The economic equation alone is revolutionary. Traditional naval doctrine says carriers dominate because they project air power from anywhere. But if carriers can't safely operate within 1,500 kilometers of China's coast, the DF-21D's range, then suddenly all those jets are flying from bases too far away. The South China Sea, Taiwan Strait, even parts of the Philippine Sea become what military strategists call anti-access zones. It's why these desert tests matter. China isn't just building weapons, they're building confidence in those weapons. Every successful test is a message. We've solved the carrier problem. And that message shifts the entire strategic calculus without firing a shot in anger. The mere possibility of such a weapon existing changes behavior. I think there is a term for it that goes something along the lines deterrence through perceived capability. But here's the geopolitical layer most people miss. China is doing something Sun Tzu wrote about 2,500 years ago, winning without fighting. Two flashpoints drive this entire desert operation. First, the South China Sea, where China claims almost the entire ocean as sovereign territory. They've literally built artificial islands on underwater reefs, pouring sand onto coral until military bases emerge from the waves. Think of it as building walls in the ocean, expanding your territory one artificial island at a time, each one pushing the defensive perimeter further out. The US responds with, quote, freedom of navigation operations, sailing warships through disputed waters to say, this is international territory. Second, Taiwan. China views it as a breakaway province that must eventually reunite with the mainland. Taiwan sees itself as independent. The US maintains, quote, strategic ambiguity, which basically means we'll probably defend Taiwan, but we won't say definitely. This tension keeps everyone on edge. Now, layer in the carrier killer missiles. Suddenly, America's ability to intervene becomes questionable. If carriers can't get close without risking destruction, how do you defend Taiwan? How do you enforce freedom of navigation? China's desert testing isn't just about hitting targets, it's about psychological warfare at the national level. And they're not hiding it. These mock-ups are visible from space, photographed by commercial satellites anyone can access. It's strategic transparency, letting potential adversaries know exactly what you're capable of. Like revealing your hand in poker, but only after you've already bet big. As the US Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth explicitly threatened the US adversaries like this.
To our enemies, FAFO. If necessary, our troops can translate that for you.
These tests are China's subtle way of saying FAFO. Other nations are watching closely. Iran built their own US carrier replica in 2014 and bombed it to pieces on camera. The US also trains with mock-ups of Chinese J-20 fighters. This is the new arms race, not building more weapons, but demonstrating you can defeat the other side's best weapons and rubbing it in their face. What appears to be isolated mock-ups in sand dunes is actually the physical manifestation of a strategic shift, from projecting power through presence to denying power through precision. The perfect example that validates my words is 12-day war between Israel, US versus Iran. Precision is king. China isn't trying to build a navy larger than America's. They already have the biggest naval power in the world. They're trying to make America's navy irrelevant in their backyard, which is the hotbed for conflicts. The ships in the desert are practice targets today, but they represent real ships tomorrow, not necessarily destroyed, but displaced, pushed further from contested waters, rendered less decisive in potential conflicts. Every successful test makes the calculus of intervention more complicated. Every visible mock-up sends a signal, and every curved rail track demonstrates they're preparing for enemies that fight back. I sometimes wonder about the beef between the US and China. Both are superpowers with nuclear weapons. And if the war turns hot and nuclear warheads fly, would these anti-carrier weapons even matter? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts. Regarding Taiwan, it has something close to a nuclear bomb, and it's China's Three Gorges Dam. Taiwan can send fighter jets to destroy it, and 400 million people can be casualties. I made a thorough video about it. Here it is. Check it out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the all notifications button so you won't miss investigative videos like this.